you look at tariffs and those who are worried that the president did permanent damage or didn't achieve much of anything with his on again, off again tariffs. I think he's gained leverage over the Chinese. I think he scared Xi, or at least braced Xi to see that if there's a trade war, China will pay a big price. And I think the U.S. is going to have more favorable trade terms with lots of countries. So I think it's possible that the president achieved a lot, even with what he did, using the threat of tariffs. And I think prices might go up, but they also may come back down, and there could be a lot of good stuff. The one thing that I don't think you could argue that the president achieved with the tariffs is onshoring, and Dan has made this point many times. Like putting tariffs on for 20 minutes and taking them off is not going to get a bunch of companies built in the United States. However, this morning the president suggested that in fact he's still determined to get manufacturing in the United States, and not just manufacturing of like lawn chairs, but the most important product ever invented, the iPhone. After meeting with Tim Cook, or who he once called Tim Apple, in the White House earlier this week, the president went on Truth Social this morning and said this: I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones that will be, is that an apostrophe S, or that's just a little thing on my computer? Yeah, it is an apostrophe S.
That's
So
an
that's a
apostrophe.
mistake. All right. That will be sold in the United States of America, will be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else. If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the U.S. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, I could microanalyze this tweet. Amongst the things I would highlight, though, is the president, I thought, said the tariffs were paid by the other countries, not by the U.S. companies. So I don't know why he's now saying Apple would pay it. Rick, two-part question, violating my rule. I normally don't like two-part questions. Why do you think the president put this on Truth Social? And do you believe that it's possible, economically feasible, to make iPhones in the United States?
So first of all, the most important part of that tweet was thank you for your attention to this matter,
Yes,
because
we all love that tag. We all love that tag. Yeah.
that signals here's your warning.
Yeah.
And so
100%.
if Tim Cook is watching, you better be scrambling today because he's serious about this. Look, after COVID, Mark, we all said that we were going to have a united front. Democrats, Republicans, independents, everybody said we have to never be in this position again where all of the PPE, all masks, testing, gear, sanitation, all of these things surrounding COVID were made in China. And we said we can never be in this position again. We all got to bring back manufacturing. We spent 4 years of the Biden administration not bringing back manufacturing, but making matters worse. And so Donald Trump is in this unique position to touch the third rail. And I don't think it's about the short-term prices. Yes, it's going to be painful in some areas, but overall, it's going to be so beneficial for us by bringing manufacturing back. Do you know that we don't even make clothing in America anymore? You can't find a manufacturing plant in America that makes simple Nike or any clothes. It's all made overseas. And so I don't buy this whole idea that somehow labor costs are so expensive that we can't do it here. Guess what we can do better than anybody else? Automate technology. And so we can bring back the manufacturing through automation and technology and advancement. And so that's a very long answer to say, yes, we can make iPhones here. We've got to absolutely just force people to say that they're going to take all of the advancements that we can take when building anything and bring manufacturing back to the United States. And yes, it's short-term pain, but it is long-term gain. And somebody like President Trump, who's not running for re-election again, is able to do it because the politics is removed.
Dan, if you were the Washington lobbyist for Apple, what would you tell Tim Cook to do today?
Be quiet for starters here while you figure it out. I mean, look, this is not the first time Trump's taken a shot at him. He expressed his displeasure on camera. I think it was like 2 weeks ago when Apple quietly on a Friday night announced they were moving out of China to India, right? And he got wind of it. Look, I mean, the reality of this is, and I've said this before, a lot of companies in China, right, to the ambassador's point, there's a decoupling of manufacturing, US-based companies manufacturing China. The problem is most of them are not coming back to the United States. They are seeking alternative, lower cost solutions. such as India. And as Sean and I have talked about, India has a whole host of problems. If you were to bring the iPhone back, first off, I believe it would take probably 5 years to get all the different component manufacturing set up back in this country. And then there is the cost issue. Just on the surface, if you are paying someone 10 cents an hour versus $15 an hour, there's obviously a massive difference. I think he's getting ahead of this because most people have an iPhone and he knows prices are going to go up. And he is trying to get ahead of it's his fault, not my fault, right? He's un-American. Don't blame me for what's happening. Look, the political challenge is, to be really blunt, Democrats aren't going to come out and say, no, it should remain in China. Like we defend, Indian manufacturing.
Right.
He's going to pay a price, but we're not going to be the ones necessarily to benefit because we're not going to advocate for the status quo.
That was a delicious video experience. I think you'll agree. Now, what you need to do in return for getting to enjoy that is hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a thing.